back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Josh Parker, your Austin original realtor, here to help you buy, sell, or make that next investment. Today's topic, I wanted to jump in and talk about lumber prices and why they're still rising, how that affects the real estate industry, and you as a buyer looking to buy a home, or you as a seller, and what that means for when you will become a buyer. So let's jump into it and why we're seeing these things. So if you look back at early 2000s when the housing bubble burst, a lot of things happened that are still a trickle-down effect of that time period. And that is, when that happened, sawmills got shut down, building came to a halt, builders weren't building as many new homes, and so you had that buildup, and then it all got taken away, caused a lot of sawmills to shut down completely. And for that reason, when COVID came about, all these companies that saw what happened back then are all of a sudden going, holy cow, what's going to happen now? So many of them, in order to preserve their business and keep afloat and stay in it for the long run, had to take a look at things and go, okay, what do I need to do to survive? Now, whether that meant slowing down production to a crawl, meaning temporarily shutting down some of those sawmills, production for products, or they were forced to shut down by their local municipality, it caused a whirlwind of uncertainty. So for that reason, a lot of places had to slow it down until they figured out what was going on. Just like so many of us, all of a sudden our world's turned upside down, and we're going, all right, what do we do now? We're forced to stay home. We're forced to work from home. And rather than being a burst in the bubble, it had the complete opposite effect on the real estate market. Now all of a sudden everybody wants to come in, buy a home, get into a bigger home, because why? You're stuck working from home. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. I think a lot of big corporations are seeing that they're still getting the productivity out of their employees, working remotely instead of coming into the office every day. And so you as a buyer, which is why you're probably buying, is you don't have an office, or you had another child and you're now out of space. You're working in the living room, you're working in the kitchen, at the table, with your kids screaming, the dogs barking, all these distractions, and you need a designated space to call your own for your office. And so rather than everything slowing down, it has driven to an all-time high. And with inventory being so low, builders can't keep up, which means the sawmills can't keep up. The production of all the materials that go into building a home can't keep up with the market, because they too slowed things down with the expectation that things were going to be slow for the unforeseeable future. So when you have those two collide, it causes this massive influx of demand, which means the sawmills are working triple time to try to keep up with that demand, which means your prices are going to rise. Now keep in mind, what we're seeing out there on the market is these builders coming in and they're having to change their contracts to cover themselves as well. And I don't blame the builders one bit, but you as a consumer, you as a buyer, need to be aware of this, because it's not always talked about. Should it be? Absolutely. And their sales consultants should be going through the contract very thoroughly with you so that you fully understand things. But that's the importance of having a realtor on your side that isn't hired by the builder. So if it's not brought up, you're made aware of it by somebody that's representing you. Now, it's not a knock at the builders. They have to make money in order to continue to build you a home, build the next person a home, and so on and so forth. And so when you look at the way that these are worded, it appears to be an open checkbook. Now, I understand why they have to do it that way, because they don't know what lumber is going to be tomorrow. Many of these builders are fair, honest folks that are looking to help you as a buyer not to have the price increase dramatically. Nobody wants that to happen because it gives them a bad name. It gives you a bad taste in your mouth on your process of you getting into a new home. And at the end of the day, everybody wants you to be happy with what you bought. Because if you're happy, you're going to tell your friends that you're happy, you had a good experience. But if it's a bad experience, what happens? Especially in today's world with technology and social media, people make a huge deal out of it. And so for that reason, some builders are saying, hey, we're going to eat a percentage of the base price to not pass along those costs. Some are not doing that, and they're saying, hey, the cost is going to go up with lumber, with materials, with all your other items that go into your home. And if that happens, we have to increase the price. And that's not a bad thing. Now, if you're not aware of it or you're not really fully prepared for it, it could make or break a deal. It could mean that 6 months down the road, when the home is halfway done and you get this new contract that shows a new price and it's 20, 30 grand higher possibly, it may throw you all out of budget. You may not be able to qualify for that home now. And now you've spent those 6 months with an expectation that you're going to get this new home, and now it doesn't happen. So you need to be fully aware of these items that are in the contracts now and how it's laid out, not only to keep the deal going, but understand that, hey, if I budget an X dollar amount and it goes up to this amount, do I now budget for this? If the answer is yes, then you're probably okay. So if you're looking at your max budget here and you look at homes here and you have that rise in price, but you're still under your max budget, are you okay paying that monthly payment? The answer should be yes, if you're looking in the right price range. Don't go to the top of your price range and go, I can afford $350,000 or $400,000 home. That's where I'm starting to look. Because at the end of the day, prices will go up, most likely, unless they're building spec homes or they've already previously bought a lot of the material and it's already 3/4 of the way done and you're not expecting a whole lot of extra cost. If you're having an poured foundation, you better look lower than what your max budget is so that you expect those increases, and at the end of the day, you're still getting into the home that you've wanted. There's plenty of options out there for you. Are they getting harder? Yes. So keep all that in mind. I think we're going to see lumber prices continue to rise some, but I think it will start to catch up, start level out. I don't think it's going to drop drastically. And from everything I've read, most folks would agree with that statement. So keep that in mind. Hope this helps. We'll see you next time. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. We'll see you soon.